We're going to be up and moving because I want to show you guys sort of just like a 10-15 minute vinyasa flow using the chair as a prop. So
Great.
This is not chair yoga. This is chair as a prop yoga.
Mm-hmm.
And some of this is stuff that I will weave into my chair yoga classes because I'm not a big fan of people sitting for a full hour on their butt. So when I know that I've got a class where people can have the ability to stand, I will incorporate a little bit of standing stuff. Mm-hmm. So again, you have to know your audience. You know, if you've got people in wheelchairs, it's probably not a good class to do that with. So what we're going to do, I'm going to have you guys flip your chair around so that it's facing you, and then just clear away stuff. Your mat. Make sure that the chair is truly, all four legs of it are on. I'm going to actually take Desi's chair. This one almost has like a little bit of a wobble in it.
Oh, sorry.
No, you're fine. I just, it's fine for the sitting stuff. One thing I want to point out, because we're going to do like some down dogs and planks and stuff using the chair. The chair can move if you're pushing, forward. So just make sure as you do the stuff that your pressure is downward on the chair, because I just don't want anyone to. So let's just start. We'll just start in mountain pose. So stand, a couple feet away from the chair. Take a breath in, reach your arms up. And then fold forward, bringing hands to the chair. So we're coming right into, I would call this almost kind of like a tabletop position. So, and just kind of add a little movement here. Our spines are good and warmed up. I like to just sort of shift, from fingertips to heels. We're not going into down dog yet. We're just kind of getting a feel for what little movement in tabletop on our feet. And then do this, guys. Take your hips and kind of bump them over to the right. Look over your left shoulder. Come back through center. Shift them over to the left. Look over your right shoulder. Back through center. Keep your core engaged. Extend your left leg back. Think about pressing your heel towards the back wall. If this is good and you want a little more, reach your right arm forward. So it's almost kind of like final balance, but we're doing it a hand on the chair. Keep breathing, keep reaching. If this is good, stay. If you want a little more, take your hand out to the diagonal and your foot out to the diagonal. So almost like the corners of your mat, and then pull them back in. Slide them out. Pull them back in. Slide them out. Pull them back in. Your right elbow, your left knee are going to meet. Knee to chest, crunch. Extend, open it back up. Crunch. Extend. Crunch. Extend, hold here for a breath. Imagine someone's pressing down on your leg, your arm, you're solid, you're strong. And release. Hand to chair, foot to mat, give it a little shake out. Notice left versus right side of body. We'll set up for the other side. So we start with the right leg extended. Try to push down equally through both hands here first. Root down into your left leg. Reach your right heel to the back wall. So imagine almost like you're standing on a floor with your right foot. If this is good, stay. If you want more, extend your left arm forward. Keep everything level. Hips are level. Neck is long, so you're looking at a spot on the seat of the chair. If you're good, stay. If you want the diagonals, take left hand out to the diagonal, right foot to the diagonal, and pull it back in for 3. Slide it out. Pull it in for 2. Slide it out. Pull it in for 1. Hold here. Breathe here. Knee to elbow crunch. So left knee, right, or right knee, left elbow, and extend. And crunch, and extend, and crunch, and extend. Hold here for a breath. And with a little shake out. Maybe come down to your forearms for a little bit of a deeper stretch. Shift your hips side to side. Shake your head out. Come back up to straight arms. Just to kind of show you, let's just do like a round or two of cat and cow here. So we know what it feels like seated. Let's do a few rounds here. So tuck your chin, tuck your tail. Drop your belly, lift your chest. For a flow movements. Come back to a flat back. Shift the weight like half an inch over your fingertips. Keep your elbows in. Bend your elbows, bring your chest partway down, about halfway down. Inhale, press up for 3. Halfway, press up 2. Halfway down, hold here, keep the tension in your arm, keep holding. Press back. Take your left leg back into warrior 1. So you might have to adjust a few things. Find your warrior leg and eventually float your hands off the chair. Warrior 1. Breath in. Warrior 2. Extended side angle. Take your hand to the chair just for a different sensation. Reach your left arm up and over. Come back to warrior 2. Triangle with the chair. So straighten your front knee, maybe step your back foot in, sash your hips back, reach forward, and then just bring your hand to the seat of the chair. Bring your other arm, so your left arm, you can reach it towards the back of the chair. Maybe it reaches, maybe not. Come back up, warrior 2. Take both hands to the floor, or yeah, to the chair actually. Both hands to the chair. Come on to the ball of your back foot. Send your right leg back. Come into chair dog, down dog, chair, whatever you want to call it. So send your shoulders, I should say send your hips closer to the back wall. Let your chest drop to your shoulders. Again, just make sure that the pressure is downward through your hands rather than pushing forward, so you don't scoot the chair over. Look forward. Take your left leg forward to warrior 1. Hands melt off of the chair. Warrior 2. Extended side angle. So take your hands to the chair. Come back up to warrior 2 to triangle. So straighten your front knee. Maybe step your foot in, little sash your hip back. Take a hand to the chair. Maybe take your top arm. Can you reach it over your head? Maybe it can even touch the back of the chair. Depending on your height, that might not feel great. So just kind of play around. And then eventually back up to warrior 2. Hands come back to the chair. Step back to down dog again. And this is where I want you guys to use caution. So look forward and come forward to plank. So I've done like a flow with planks, low planks, and up dogs. I don't usually flip my toes because it just doesn't feel stable to me, but let's just try it. And I just want you to, kind of notice what you guys feel. So you're in plank. See what it feels like to bend your elbows, bring your chest down for low plank, and then press up, coming to sort of a version of cobra or up dog. Again, I keep my toes tucked because it just feels more stable. And then press back to down dog. Do it once more just to get a feel for it. So look forward, come forward to plank. Elbows in, come down for low plank. Let your hips come forward, open up your chest for cobra. Down dog. Walk your feet up to the chair. have a seat. No fancy way of doing it. I want to show you guys an option for an inversion. Well, not even an inversion, more of like a relaxation pose for the chair. But before we do that, I have a little work too. So bring your feet up to the chair. Your legs, I should say. Arms are at your side. Walk your heels back a little bit so that the heels of your feet are kind of at the edge of the chair. Because we're going to do bridge pose first. I want you guys to feel bridge pose here. And sometimes this is the closest that some people might get to like what shoulder stand feels like. So you might get a Charlie horse, but let's just see what happens. Arms are at your side. Scoop your tailbone under, lift your hips up a little bit or a lot. Maybe your hips go pretty much over your shoulders. See what you feel here. Keep breathing. Keep lifting. Squeeze your glutes. Press your arms into the floor. Okay, for another 5, 4, 3, 2, set it down.
Why is that so hard?
Oh, right?
Right at the end, my muscles.
I know, it's just like crazy that it should feel so different. And then just come to, basically we call this kind of like reclined chair pose, you know? So for people that spend all day in a wheelchair, if they're able to get on the floor and get their feet up onto a chair, it feels magical for them. Changing their relationship with gravity. And this is just a nice one. It's great for your low back. It releases. Sometimes I'll put like a sandbag on people's shins for this one to give them a little grounding sensation. You could prop like a bolster on the seat of the chair and get them into truly more of an inversion where their legs are sort of extended. Just because supported waterfall does not feel restful for a lot of people. So this is a nice option. You're trying to figure out an inversion similar to legs up the wall. And that's chair as a prop. I mean, there's so many other things you can do, but those are some of my go-tos. And for some of my chair yoga people that like to get on the floor for Shavasana, they usually either like the bolster under their back or like a chest opener, or they like their legs up on the chair. Favorites.
That's good practice too. On the floor, to use the chair to get up off the floor.
Yes.
And kind of a safe
environment. Mm-hmm. And sometimes I've even made that part of our practice. Like, let's mindfully watch how we get onto the floor. You know, maybe go into like a half kneeling and then slowly kind of come down to it. Yeah. Any questions about using the chair as a prop? The other thing I use it a prop for is balance poses. So when we do some balance poses, I have them turn their chair so that way they can reach the back of it, kind of like a railing or a parallel bar, essentially, so that if they lose their balance, they've got the chair they can grab a hold of. So that kind of actually leads into balance, because I was thinking, working in physical therapy, I try to always think, you know, what things have I brought from working in physical therapy for many years into some of my yoga classes? And like, what are the important things that I think would be helpful for you guys as yoga teachers? And one of them that I guess I like to mention is the balance piece. So I think sometimes in yoga we think, oh, you know, we're getting into our balance pose, and there's so many benefits of balance. But I think it's important to understand, like, functionally, what is balance? So I want to bring up a couple of things. So in the physical therapy world, when we think of balance, we think of different strategies that we use to fix our balance. So the first one being the ankle strategy.
So if you guys notice, I'm not trying to do this. I'm literally, my ankle is lighting up, it's firing. If our ankles are weak, this won't happen. And so then I have to resort to my next thing, which is the hip strategy. So like, let's say I close my eyes. So now I'm using, notice my hips now have started to engage, right? So that happens, number one, if our ankles are weak, our hips are gonna have to take over. Or it happens when the loss of balance is so big that our ankles, they can't take it. So those are the two strategies that we use as humans to fix our balance. The other one that we sometimes forget about, and it's so important, and I think sometimes in yoga too, it's kind of like, we see it happen as yoga teachers, but we don't really bring any attention to it. And I like to educate people on it. Because when we get into a balance pose, yes, we want it to be pretty and stable and all of that, but we actually kind of want to fall out of it. Because if we're not falling out of it, we're not challenging ourselves enough. So the next strategy that we use is what we call the stepping strategy. So I'm going to try to truly like use my stepping strategy. So I've got my eyes closed. I'm standing in a narrow base of support. That was the stepping strategy, okay? As we get older, what happens is we take these tiny little steps because we lose that ability to take a big step. So often I'll bring up in my classes like, hey, if you lose your balance, be prepared to take a nice big step to fix it, right? Don't hold it so long that you take these little tiny steps and you fall. So it's good to just, I guess, be aware, when we're doing any pose, tree pose, the ankle strategy is kicking in. But I think as yoga teachers, we can challenge people a little more by making it more dynamic. So by dynamic, what I mean is, okay, because you got to experience it. So let's actually do some dynamic balance. I'm going to have you guys bring one foot right in front of the other. And when you do it, try not to lock your knees out. I have a tendency to do that. So stand here, good posture. And be ready, like we just talked about, to take a step if you need to, okay? So we're good, we start here, and this is often something I'll do in my chair yoga class. So if this is good, you can hold it for about 10 seconds. The next thing we do is we look up and we look down. And if we step out, that's fine. We step back in, we look up and down. We're gonna do that 3 times. Looking down, you feel your ankles working, right? You feel your hips working. Okay, and then you come back to center with our head. We're gonna look to the right and to the left. Right and to the left. Feeling the wobble, taking a step if you need to. So working all the strategies, the ankles, the hip strategy, the step strategy. The final thing that we might have people do here is to close their eyes and keep balance for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, release. So eyes closed is where some people really fall apart. So always have a chair next to them, if it's anyone that you're nervous about, or have them do it counter. So we always have to do the other way because we often will have one side that's a little easier than the other. So find the other one. Come into the other position. First, good posture, knees soft. If you're good for about 10 seconds here, then we move on. I always tell people, if you're tipping over here, you're not going to move on to the head movements. You're just going to continue to work on holding without extra challenge. And then we're going to look right.
Does this have a name? Or do you call it anything?
So we use this often for vestibular, people that have vertigo issues. It's just standing balance exercises. Okay. These are the most common ones that we give to people with balance issues. We have them do it like in a wall or like a corner of their home. So that way they've got a wall on each side of them, literally, maybe even a walker or chair in front of them. So that way they're completely safe. especially for the eyes closed ones. If you guys want to try it, close your eyes, hold for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So when we close our eyes, you notice that we use our vision so much for balance. We use our inner ear, our vestibular system so much for balance. We use, our sense of sensation. Obviously, strength plays a part with balance. So there's so much happening with balance. But I really like this one because it's functional. And then telling people, if you start to lose your balance, take a step. Don't, I don't know if you've ever had people, they're like hopping all over, and it's like, no, just take a step. That's going to serve you better in life. I guess when I'll go back to, this would be called like tandem stance. For some people too, I'll tell them, if you are struggling here and you want to do the head movements, I tell them just stagger your feet a little bit. So for some of my clients, they might be like right here, and for them, this is challenging, right? This is the hardest one right from the other. Semi-tandem is more staggered. So yeah, really great. And you can do any of this, so you could do tree pose and have people do some head movements. And then the other thing that makes it dynamic, so static is when we just hold, right? We hold, we look at a spot, we don't move, that's static balance. It's great, but it's not real functional. When we think about life and just going about our day, we rarely use static balance. Usually it's, oh, I'm reaching over here to get this, and, we're moving and trying to keep our balance. So the other thing that makes balance dynamic is, let's say you're in tree pose, and then you have people do some movements, with their hands, or you have them do, some leg movements. Any movement over the supporting limb is dynamic balance. It's going to be functional, going to be more beneficial, maybe a little less yoga-like, but you can still, blend the two worlds together. So that's my little piece on that. So let's do some adaptive yoga. So when we talk about adaptive yoga, chair yoga kind of falls under this umbrella of accessible yoga. So accessible yoga would be, how do we make yoga accessible for all, whether it's because of financial reasons, whether it's because of socioeconomic reasons, whether it's because of, just the abilities of their body, they've got mobility impairments, cognitive impairments. So accessible yoga, you think of it as kind of here at the top, and then you have adaptive yoga that kind of falls under there, which is where we are truly using props, chairs, blocks, straps, bolsters, sandbags to help the person feel the pose in their body, because maybe they can't move, like the rest of us, or they don't have sensation to part of their body because of a stroke or head injury or spinal cord injury, things like that. Yeah.
Before I forget,
Yes.
do you ever use yourself as a prop for people?
I do. Let's actually start with that. Okay. So the two of you, can I have you guys come up here? And I'm going to have you guys sit what we call spine to spine. Okay. So you guys are going to sit with your backs to each other. Your legs can be extended. Your legs can be an easy seated. You can have the soles of your feet together. But I want you guys to really snug your tailbones up with each other. Really snug them up. And then this will be challenging, but I want you guys to take like a moment to connect your breath with each other. And then mean that you have to sort of tune into those subtle sensations, connect your inhale and your exhale. Let me know when you How does this feel just to have that support? Melt away from each other. So just barely, so kind of literally scoot away from each other. And you notice just how the weight of your bodies come back, right? The sense of gravity. Now scoot back into each other. Snug up really good. We're gonna add a little bit of movement here. So can you guys interlock shoulders? So one of you is going to kind of reach underneath, one of you is going to kind of reach over. So you guys are literally going to, if you have tight shoulders, let me know if this is not tolerable. So first, you should be even feeling just a nice opening. Now, if this is good, I want one of you to be kind of the leader. You could decide which one. You guys are going to do some twisting together. So one of you lead it. I don't know which one, but you guys coordinated it. Keep the length and breathe as you twist. So one of you is just kind of going along for the ride. One of you is directing it. Inhale. Come back through center. Switch whoever's leading, because I can't tell who it is for sure. Do some side to side now. So now we're actually going to do some side bending. Yep. And this is one that, if I'm doing this spine to spine with someone who has balance issues, so let's say they've got, they've had a stroke or spinal injury, I'm going to be cautious, obviously, how far over I go, knowing that they're not going to be able to help me with coming back up. Keep breathing. And then come back through center. Undo arms. Give them a little shake out. Remember which interlock you guys had, because now we want you guys to experience the other option. So now go the other way. Little different feel, right? This time, can you guys sort of move just a little bit forward and backwards? So now we're kind of doing a little spinal flexion for one of you. Spinal extension for one of you. So you'll go gentle. Yeah, and you can literally hang out there, which feels really lovely. And then you can just kind of create a flow. So then Emma will take her turn going into extension. And a lot of times I might put like a little block, like it's hard for me to coordinate, but I might take a little block and have that like underneath their head. Because a lot of people don't have that ability to fully extend their neck. But I mean, you could go, way, way forward. This is also, it's kind of cool. People love this. So like I've done this with my head injured fellows. Something about it they love, because I'll say, hey, it's my turn. Let me just hang out, right? Mm-hmm. They feel like a sense of like purpose, like, oh, I get to, do something for you. I've had husbands and wives do this, where one is truly the caregiver for the other one. And it will bring them to tears, because it's kind of like, oh my gosh, this is the first time I, as the caregiver, have felt supported. And for the patient, or, the one who's ill or whatever, they feel like they can truly support the caregiver spouse. So it's cool. It seems like, oh, it's just, a little tool that we can use, but it has a lot of cool benefits. When you guys are ready, undo arms and extend your legs out in front of you now. So come into more of like just like a staff pose. So I'm going to show another element, and I'll show you too, Emma. But Emma, I want you to just kind of see if you feel anything change as you sit there. You feel anything, Emma? You may not.
Yeah, I feel like my tailbone
Okay.
like my hips kind of went up.
So what I did was I'm putting my feet to Cheryl's feet. And so when we think about adaptive yoga, we think about things like rhythm. So I'm going to add a little rhythm. You're going to walk with me, Cheryl. Yes. So we're going to just kind of go back and forth here. And I don't know if you'll feel anything here, but we're just kind of doing a little walking. So for somebody who hasn't been able to walk, this feels lovely to them, because you might feel like your femurs even going into your pelvis. I might even have them make it really dynamic. So you can pause for a minute, and I want you to feel what we're doing here. Are you okay if I put my feet against your feet? All right. And Cheryl, let me know if you notice anything you may or may not. Anything change for you there? It's okay, Emma. So you and I, let's do a little rotation here. And I are going to do a little
So you have the ability. So we're just going to kind of get plantar flex and dorsiflex. And then we're going to, and we're walking. You know, and this, I mean, it seems silly, but it's like for somebody that hasn't been able to feel the sensation of walking.
Even like with Ben, his hamstring structure,
Yeah.
he's supposed to sit on the floor with his legs out. So like, this would be
You
fun.
could just sit with his
Goofy.
back and just be like, hey, let's just sit here.
Just make him laugh while doing this.
And there's like tons of science to back up that bilateral movement. Walking helps with neuroplasticity.
So much. Said something that we. Oh, so with this spine to spine sitting, sometimes people are like, well, what if they can't get on the floor? So you could do this with someone. So let's say they can sit on the edge of their bed. I've climbed into people's beds and literally, you know, so they maybe their legs are dangling off the edge of the bed, and then I come around and I sneak in. Even that feels lovely for people. So it can be, it's a little harder, but it can be done in a bed too. So this would be one option that you could use to, you know, use yourself almost as a prop. So it's called spine to spine sitting. The other one, so Cheryl, I'm going to have you stand up. Emma, I'm going to have you lie down. So the other thing that we like to bring to people, we talked about rhythm with the alternating movements, right? The back and forth. Another thing we could do for rhythm, Emma, you don't really have to do anything. I'm just going to take your legs. So if you want to do a little rhythm with someone, you could do almost like a lower trunk sort of spinal movement rotation. So I'm literally, this isn't hard for me. I'm literally just resting Emma's legs on my thighs, and I'm using my own body weight to just. So this is one. You could bend your knees a little bit, Emma, and then we can kind of do the same thing. I could kind of move her closer. I could kind of move her further away. The other thing we could do is we could do a little bit of the walking here. So the back and forth. You know, and let's say she's had a stroke on her right side. I might, you know, tell her to do more with her left side, and then I'm just helping with the weaker side. So that's something. We're going to do racking next. So racking is to help create this sense of expansion for them. So think of someone who sat in a wheelchair. They spend all day in a wheelchair. This feeling here often is just lovely for them. They're just like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
You know, it just feels so good just on the floor. So racking is, you guys might know, have you guys done like a lumbar release at all?
I have.
Okay.
Yeah.
So lumbar release, what you want to do is you want to come in and you don't want to grip. So it can be hard. You really want to, as much as you can, just kind of come in with the lightest touch possible. You're going to be in Malasana pose yourself. You're going to grab a hold of the ankle bones, and then you're literally going to use your own body weights to just kind of pull. You're just kind of trying to create some traction with the legs. So this would be the first part of it. And it's important that you kind of notice your own posture. So if I come in and I'm kind of like this, that's not going to be great. I want to keep my own body kind of lifted.
Why is it called racking?
So you'll see. I know, it sounds super barbaric, right? So here's the racking piece. Sherelle, you're going to come in and you're going to grab a hold of Emma's wrists here. I'm going to bring your hands in. So you're going to kind of hold, so your palms are going to kind of be up. Do you have okay shoulders, Emma? Okay. So I'm in my Malasana pose, and I'm literally creating that thing. So you could do just shoulders, you could do just legs, and that's what I usually have to do because it's usually just me seeing my clients. But since we've got helpers, we're going to experience it. So first, Cheryl, we'll just kind of come down into Malasana. We'll get kind of lined up. And we're just kind of using the lightest touch possible. And then you might want to scoot back a little bit because as you pull, you'll notice you might feel kind of tippy. On your next breath in, Emma, let us know. Take a big breath in. And just pull. And you just kind of keep taking some deep breaths. Sometimes I'll kind of coordinate people's breath with it. So I might kind of let up a little as they exhale and then take another big breath in. And then I might kind of pull, but you can do it however. No magic here. Do you want to try the ankles, Cheryl? You can feel it that way. Yeah, it just feels magical. And I mean, it feels magical to us, and we have the ability to do extended mountain rides. You can imagine for someone who can't, this just come down. Yeah, just make sure that you feel like you're far enough back. I'll kind of coordinate with, so we'll coordinate with your breath, I guess. So take a big breath in. Your turn to try it, Emma. Are your ankles and shoulders okay, Sean? All right. Do you want me to talk you through it, or do you feel? I think I'm okay. Yeah. So again, it's just kind of that light touch along the joints of her wrists, if you can, down to Malasana first, making sure you feel solid. And then take a big breath in. And this is such a funny one. Once in a while, I'll do just the lumbar release with my power yoga class. Some people have so much give. Like, Sarah Todd, when I pull on hers, I almost feel like I am literally going to tip over because she just has a lot of like laxity in her joints, and then other people, they feel really solid and you don't really feel.
They're really lightweight too.
Yeah.
You like pull them, like they start to move down the mat and you can like practically follow backwards.
Good. Did I do this? I did the feet to feet with both of you. You guys felt like. You want to try the ankle, Emma? Yeah, so much of this, it's good to feel it as, the participant, but then also do it just so you feel comfortable. I like to do the pull on the exhale usually. I mean, but like I said, I wouldn't overthink it. It's just creating that lane, having the person again let you know. Obviously, shoulders make me a little leery. Anytime, somebody's like, I'm not sure. I would err on the side of they could still reach their arms over their head, and you could do the lumbar release, but maybe don't pull on the shoulders unless you. Now you stay here on the ground. I'm going to show the next one that can be nice. So we talked about expansion. We talked about rhythm. Grounding is another one. So there's one called hip pinning that they showed us in the adaptive yoga. Hip pinning. Yeah. So what you'll do is you're going to stand over the person. You're going to come in and you're going to kind of line your ankles up kind of with their hips. You're going to basically literally sort of heel toe your way in, and you're kind of going for, so if you open your legs up wide, Cheryl, I just want to kind of see, sometimes when their legs are wider, it's a little easier to tell, and I'm lined up pretty good. They should still be able to open up their legs, and it should feel just kind of like yummy. I don't know how else to describe it. Do you feel it? Yeah. Take your arms out wider. So 5-pointed star on the floor. So flex your feet if you're able to. Yeah. So I could even have Emma come in if I had a second person. She could provide the feet to feet. Yeah. So, you can imagine again, someone who's not able to stand. This feels so good. So feel this sensation, because now I'm going to kind of melt away. So I'm going to kind of feel. So it's kind of that sensation of grounding. And then Emma, sorry, I guess I should have said, yeah, so you're providing kind of that grounding sensation. Yeah. Oh, did you? Yep, yeah, you're good, you're good. So this is a great one. You could add sandbags to create more that grounding effect. A lot of times, you know, we might add a sandbag kind of like the hip creases. If legs are together, you know, we often will add them, you know, just to their shins or to their quads.
A weighted blanket.
Yeah. Yeah. Let me think what other thing. Emma, do you want to try the Feely hip pinning? Sure. Calm down. I'm going to have you start in 5-pointed star. Take legs out wide. And then Charlotte, if you want to come in and do like feet to feet, so you'll do like a straddle fit. Get that grounding there. So this one, you know, for the one that's doing it, like it's a good inner thigh workout, you know, like take a couple breaths.
This would be great to do during Shavasana.
Mm-hmm. Very good. So rounding, expansion. So this is also an example of expansion. So you're in 5-pointed star. Anytime you can have people that are in a wheelchair take up more space, because people that spend a lot of time either in a wheelchair or with any kind of a disease, Parkinson's, stroke, head injury, they start to just take up less space in the world, right? And so anytime you can get them into a nice, big, expansive pose, whether it's sitting in the chair, taking up space, or goddess pose, 5-pointed star, it's so good mentally for them, as well as just physically. So thinking about that. Anything else you can think of, Sarah, that I've touched on in the past?
No, I feel like you've covered all the classic hits.
Yeah. What questions do you guys have? If one of you sits in a chair, I'll show you one other thing that I often will do for people that maybe aren't understanding. Oh, sorry. I guess you want me to move her back up to the
No, it's okay.
So Emma, so start to do cat and cow, but let's pretend like you have no sense of what, like you're just kind of like, yeah, like let's say you're just kind of doing something funky, right? And that's exactly what people do. They forget about the pelvis piece, right? So they might be getting, you know, this really good, especially men. They often don't move pelvis. So what you could do as a teacher, you could come in literally, and I'm going to say to you, go ahead and round forward and let's come into cat. And then breathe in, sit up tall. So I'm literally pushing her femurs into her pelvis, and it creates this sense of like, oh, I think I should sit up. And then as she comes back down, I'm going to just kind of melt away with her. And I'm kind of mirroring it. So inhale, sit up tall. And one more, breathe in, sit up tall. Come on over, Sean. I'll have you try it just so you can get a feel for it. It's just a nice cue that you could give. So start to just kind of do some weird, funky, oh, I'm doing it. Okay. No, Cheryl, you're not. So, all right, so slouch with me, come into cat. Good. Take a breath in, rebuild your spine, sit up tall. Exhale, top and mouth. Breathe and sit up tall, sit up tall. And I'm getting, you know, a decent amount of pressure. Emma, come back over to the seat. So another cue, so for people that have the ability to use their hands, go ahead, guys, and take your fingertips to your knees. So you're going to create the sensation yourself, okay? So hands are going to start here. Pull into your knees, sit up tall. Now, as you exhale, literally kind of press away, create that sensation. So kind of pushing your femurs out and then fingers come in. So it just kind of creates that little extra bit. So, you know, I might come in and help people first, get a feel for it. And then if they have the ability to kind of use their hand. And a lot of times, unfortunately, you'll show somebody something, they'll get it, and then they kind of lose it again. You know, and that's just the nature of how it is sometimes. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, honestly, probably some of my most magical moments in yoga have been getting someone that lives their life in a wheelchair onto the floor for the first time and just seeing, like, I mean, it's just like a whole new world, you know, because if you lived your life in a wheelchair, you essentially, they'll say, I feel like I'm always just floating because I go from my wheelchair to my bed to my wheelchair, right? And then you get them on the floor and there's just this sense of like grounding and like
Support.
yeah, you know, that you just don't feel.
That will change the perspective.
Yeah.
Visually.
Mhm. And just to kind of see their body just kind of like open up and accept like this new position, you know. Obviously, you might have to add props, you know. I mean, if you've lived your life in a wheelchair, you're not going to just get on the floor and, you know, your body's not going to just love that. But that's where all the props are so important, you know. Obviously, I don't need to show it with you guys because you have good mobility, but just to give you sort of an idea of what it might look like.
It's just
We can probably turn it off pretty soon. I guess.
So where I learned a ton of the adaptive yoga stuff was Matthew Sanford. He's a fellow that was in spinal. He was an emotional. He the age of I think like 11. So he ended up with spinal cord injury. He was like a T9, so no movement sensation below, you know, level of like rib cage down. He went through therapy, did all the stuff, realized like there was something missing, started doing yoga and realized like, oh my gosh, you know, I was essentially told to just ignore everything below, you know, my waist. And then when he started doing yoga, he realized like there's still sensation there, you know? And so it was so wonderful for him that he decided to become a yoga teacher. And so now he teaches from his wheelchair. But to give you like an idea of what it might look like, this fellow, like this was first time we got him down on the floor. So we're essentially trying to get him sort of into like 5-pointed star, you know, we're getting his arms open. They're giving some cues like at his rib cage to kind of give like a grounding sensation. He's doing kind of like a lumbar release. This is Matthew Sanford, he's sitting in his wheelchair guiding everybody. So, I mean, it's just, yeah. If you have any interest at all in, you know, working with people, so here they're doing like the feet to feet. Shoulder pinning, I didn't show that, but that's basically where someone's laying down and you come in on top and just kind of do like a grounding down through the shoulders, which also just, yeah, anyway. If you have any interest in adaptive yoga, Matthew Sanford's definitely the one to go to. He's in Minnesota. He does workshops and stuff. And I mean, you will, you know, you're not going to feel like 100% comfortable working with people that have workshops. You're going to definitely have a better idea of what you